The longer I am online, the more ableist I get. Back before I was a public figure, I think I had generally a pretty high opinion of people's reasonability. But being online, not a day goes by without me coming into contact with at least half a dozen people who, when I see them online, the only thing I can think is they should be institutionalized. Yes, the Canadian Parliament voted on a nationwide ban for conversion therapy, which I think is lovely. Um, Uh, Honest to God, I can't get that hyped up about it though, because it feels like it's so obvious that I'm kind of lowering my standard just by acknowledging that it's positive. You know what I mean? It was like when Saudi Arabia was like, okay, women can drive now. And I know that's a huge deal, but it's like, guys, women can drive in Saudi Arabia. It's like, you know what I mean? Um, it's, yeah, no, I know the bar is low. Uh, yeah, conversion therapy. Honest to God, I really think the only reason that conversion therapy is still around as a concept at all in like the West is because of the use of the term therapy. There's a much greater degree of ethical and legislative wiggle room deferred to things that feel like they're a part of psychiatry, you know? Obviously, conversion therapy isn't at all, but the language is designed to give people the impression that it's in line with medical. Yeah, it's Alcoholics Anonymous is very similar to conversion therapy. I don't think that's true. Also, I think Alcoholics Anonymous is trying to get you to not be an alcoholic, which feels like it's more okay. I think that Alcoholics Anonymous is like culty, and they're very religious. It's Christian inculcation. Oh no, that's 100% true. Yeah, it is a shame to me that Alcoholics Anonymous is, which is like the premier, you know, substance abuse like sort of group therapy thing. No, yeah, it's religion based, and if you look at their precepts, I mean, you can look online. They are. It does feel a little bit culty sometimes, but I obviously have a bias against religion. My dad goes to Alcoholics Anonymous, and he said they let him do Buddhism instead. Yeah. The issue to me is that it seems like Alcoholics Anonymous is all about overcoming addiction through giving yourself over to a higher power, which I think is a really irresponsible way of encouraging good, like growth and uh, and abstinence from harmful things. Yeah, it seems like a. I don't have any like data on this, but I'm not a big fan of the whole Jesus saves method of helping people, even if it does end up helping them, because I feel like, I mean, if you want to get a person to stop being addicted to alcohol, there's lots of other bad things you could do to them that would get them off alcohol. There are other drugs potentially, but you could also like, get them into like a really involved obsessive abusive relationship. You can get them in a cult. You can like there are other things, you know what I mean? You can redirect those energies. But I just think with the religion thing, it's like, do you really need to give yourself over to a higher power? Like, maybe there are other ways. But yeah, but I don't think it's like conversion therapy, because conversion therapy is torture. Alcoholics Anonymous has helped people. The first thing you learn in AA is that you don't have power over your addiction, so you need a higher power. Yeah, it is true. As I understand it, if you're an alcoholic, you're like an alcoholic for life. Like, I think that addictive personalities. Shut the fuck up, Tempest. I think that addictive personalities, like, like it's something you're susceptible to forever. You know what I mean? Like if you're an alcoholic, recovery is not drinking. It's not becoming an alcoholic, Because I can drink and not have it be an alcoholism thing. But an alcoholic could never move to a point where they could do what I can do, which is drink casually and not feel any addictive urges. The urges would always be there, and it's just a matter of removing yourself from them, right? I think that's the case for alcoholism and a lot of other addictions as well. Like you can't really overcome whatever synapses, whatever connections lead you to that behavior, which is unfortunate. I don't think I have an addictive personality, which I'm happy about, because that seems like a lot to manage. You know, seems kind of absolutist. That's what I've heard. I've heard that my whole life, like from different sources, medical and social. So there's probably some variance to it. Um, you know, yeah, I'm only addicted to dying in Metro and dealing with chat's cringe. You know how it is. Yeah. I looked over some studies recently, and apparently religion can have positive effects on mental health and coping, but it's very variable, and I feel like there are better coping strategies out there. Atheists, for example, have similar or better mental health. Well, a placebo effect can help right there, can't it? I mean, like anything can improve, but it's like, what's the best improvement? The answer is the neural pathways for the uptake of the drug have been formed by the time you're addicted, and as such, it's easier to relapse as you're treading down already connected neural pathways. So it's like muscle memory, kind of like it, once you've built the sort of the physiological pattern, it's really easy to just lap into. Yeah, okay, that tracks. Yeah, that's gotta suck. Yeah, yeah, I feel really bad for people who have to deal with that. I still think there are better ways to manage that kind of stuff, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not a medical professional, but yeah, I don't know. Just please, for the love of God, stop using the term addictive personality. Isn't an addictive personality a thing? Some people have a genetic or psychological susceptibility to becoming addicted to things. Maybe not all things, but I'm pretty sure some people are just generally more susceptible. I don't mean it to like speak ill of people. It seems like it's just kind of a genetic lottery thing, right? I mean, it's just unfortunate if you have to deal with that. It's genetic too. Yeah, well, I'm just saying that for my end of things. Wait, hold on. Some people self-medicate. That's it. Stop the bullshit. Wait, you got to stop being defensive. Center spiral. Okay, are you an addict? Some hardcore fucking copium defensiveness right now. Holy shit. We're if you are willing to write off alcoholism as self-medication, that's incredibly unhealthy and also gigacope. Okay, chill. Um, yeah. Some people have like gambling addiction stuff, right? Yeah, I think. I don't know if like all addictions kind of correlate in terms of the likelihood of falling down that road, but I feel like there are definitely some patterns there. You know, just Google it and look up studies. What, and ruin the fun and spoil the surprise? Um, no, yeah, genetics absolutely play into it. I've never. I think there's like a critical difference. So I think that like when I think of the behavioral patterns I tend to engage in, I think of obsessive behavior where I'll get really into something and I'll just hardcore lean into it for like 14 hours a day for a while, and then I'll get bored and then I'll be done with it and I'll move on to another thing to hyperfixate on. You know, I'll do that with pieces of media or with people or whatever else. Or yeah, the autism, whatever, ADHD. Yeah, well, these things all overlap. All conditions experienced in the brain pattern into one another. There's no like distinct set of things. It's all complicated, but that's my thing. But I've never felt like an addiction. Like I felt a need to keep coming back to things. Um, yeah, I don't know. ADHD people are more susceptible to addiction. Well, they haven't gotten me yet. I don't plan on trying any cocaine, heroin, or meth outside the Adderall I take, though. If I have any, tremendous possible susceptibility to hard drugs, then hopefully I'll never find out. Yeah, I take meth light. Okay, I take meth light. Does caffeine count? Well, caffeine is a drug, but I would forget to take coffee every day if it weren't for it just being part of the coffee and bagel meal that I have. I don't really think I lean into it that hard. Why is it that every time we talk about stuff like this, like people act so cunty in chat when they don't normally? Absent TV says, Vaush, you're so off an addiction, it's actually painful. Get a specialist on before you start making these kind of claims. I've noticed that every time this happens, it's from people who don't actually posit any alternative theory. And like their behavior is so defensive that my immediate thought is they're dealing with addiction in denial. Like that's my first thought because they never say like, hey, you're incorrect about this thing. Like, and you're so salty that it seems like you have a personal involvement in it, you know? I think everything I've said is pretty much correct so far. You know, you can sure I'm sure the reality of it, you know, the medical reality is much more complex than what I understand. But I think, you know, the broad strokes. Um, it's the same stuff that we run into with like drug use. You know, there are a lot of people who are so weird about some stuff like this because they have skin in the game. You know, remember when I was talking about how over reliance on drugs can be like medically and mentally unhealthy, and people in chat were raging at me. It was when we were playing Psychonauts, and I was like, yeah, you know, I just feel like a lot of people who use weed a ton do it because they're hardcore coping and they make their psychiatric problems worse because they never do anything to meaningfully address it. They just numb the symptoms of it through like constant. Yeah, and some people got crazy mad at me. I don't think what I'm saying here is controversial. Please look at this link. Link. Addictive personality traits, okay? And then here's an article. Okay, we'll skim these, and we were going to talk about gender. Read my logs before you talk shit. All right, Absent TV. Yeah, weed abuse is a real thing. I think it's actually understudied. Do you think you could stop saying cunt? Ryan figured out YouTube treats cunt the same as the N-word, lol. Wait, really? That's anti-Australian discrimination right there. Seriously? Wait, really? Is that the reason why some of those videos could never get monetized? I guess you could always bleep it, but like, fuck. Okay. I suppose it being written would also trigger the... I might actually have to ban that word in chat then. Fuck. Because nobody ever types out the N-word, but... Oh, yeah, it's too late for this VOD. The only reason I stopped saying the F slur, too. It's because of Twitch. Whatever. Anyway, what is this? Signs of addiction. How do I know if I have an addiction? They're from healthline.com. Okay. Generally, addiction causes people to have a strong desire for a substance or behavior. They might find themselves constantly thinking about the substance or behavior, even when they don't want to. Someone experiencing addiction might start out by relying on the substance or behavior to cope with challenges or stressful situations, but eventually they may use the substance or do the behavior to get through each day. Generally, people experiencing addiction have a hard time sticking to any personal goals of not using a substance or engaging in a certain behavior. This can lead to feelings of guilt and distress, which only increase the urge to act on the addiction. Well, this seems fairly straightforward to me. So why am I looking at this? At the top, there's a hyperlink to the section Why It's a Myth. Supposed traits of an addictive personality. There's no evidence to suggest people with the traits mentioned above have a high risk for addiction. That's not to say certain personality traits aren't related to addiction. What? Pigeon! Literally just standing in the doorframe. So wait. Personality traits related to addiction. It's talking about personality disorders? Yeah, addictive personality. Why? Correlative, not causative? Okay. I didn't say causative. Wait, what? What? Why were there people in chat saying like this is a takedown? Like what I said, I think some people have personalities which correspond to a greater likelihood of addiction. And then here are traits that may be linked. However, the nature of this link is murky. Addiction can cause changes in the brain. As one 2017 research article points out, it's not always clear whether the trait is developed before or after addiction. I never suggested causative. Section right under, why is the idea harmful? You guys, are you guys being real right now? This is hardcore semantics. Addiction isn't a personality disorder, but you can have traits that can lead to addiction. Yeah. I believe the term addictive personality implies that it is causative. No, it does. Wait. How? If some people have an addictive personality and they seem to be more predisposed towards addiction, how does that suppose causation? Like chat only acts this way about like drug takes because they want to fucking believe they're not a part of it. Okay. Why is the idea of an addictive personality harmful? At first, it seems it might be good, but boiling the complex issue of addiction down to a personality trait can be harmful. It can lead people to falsely believe they aren't risk. I don't think this applies to anything that I said. I feel like you guys are, as always, reading way the fuck too much into what I said and inferring like the dumb interpretation, and then going, "Ha, well, this thing says that it would only be correct if I inferred the correct thing that you meant." It's like, work with me, guys. Come on, you got to work with me here. Oh, these are both the same article. They're both. No, stop. I don't care. Stop. I don't care. I'm right. Vaush, predisposed directly denotes causation. My only issue with the causation part, people can be predisposed to certain substance addictions, just not all addictions as a whole. This is hardcore semantics. Also, I feel like predisposed isn't necessarily denoted, or it doesn't necessarily denote causation. Maybe if it was like an academic article, like, sorry, okay, I feel like some people have personalities which correspond to certain neural pathways which may have a correlative association with, like, are we good? Are we okay? I encourage you to read more on addiction. Have someone. I already know everything about addiction, actually. I don't need to learn anything because I already know everything. And what I know is every time I talk about this and people in chat get super defensive, it reminds me of how right I am. The only reason you guys act this way is because you all fucking smoke a whole bowl of weed every morning to get through work, and you come home and watch me and you want to chill, and then you get a brief reminder that it's an unhealthy habit, and you get really fucking mad at me, okay? That's all it is a reminder, okay? I... That's 4 bulls, thank you. Well, I'm actually high right now, Kekfi, yeah. There you go. Ah, excuse me. God, dude, you can read between all the Kek V's. People who are actually mad. Guys, come on. Real? Like, I feel like people wouldn't be this defensive if I gave a pretty reasonable and commonly accepted health take on it. If I was like, hey, you know, it's probably healthy to get a light walk every now and again. Like, there are people in chat being, well, you don't know. And like, well, you know, I feel like some people, like, don't really take walks, and they should. Well, you don't know their situation. Like, fucking work with me here, okay? Yeah, they call me ableist. All right. Can't fucking shadowbox with you guys forever. Okay, who's been spamming this? I'm banning somebody. Who am I banning? Hold on. Wait, who was the person I was banning? Who was it? Here it is, Major Tom. We need to stop pathologizing addiction and ADHD and dyslexia. These are problems of capitalism, not chemical imbalance. Let's stalk you. Let's see what's going on in your head. Let's see what's going on in your dome. I see you're insane. Well, good thing I'm ableist. All right, nicely done. You think Sanity is relative to meet somebody who's genuinely insane? Yeah, the longer I am online, I think the more ableist I get. When I was back before I was a public figure online, you know, I think I had generally a pretty high opinion of people's reasonability. But being online and encountering so many people, and you know, obviously, you know, there are cognitive biases here with what I'll remember and what I won't, but I feel like not a day goes by without me coming into contact with at least half a dozen people who I like when I see them online, the only thing I can think is they should be institutionalized, full on pants on head crazy. And I know that they maybe act that way online, but not like in reality or whatever. But it's like between the insane like Kiwi Farms tier like hate trolls to the people on the left who are screaming that it's ableist to have thoughts about that. Honest to God, I feel like my convo with RGR was making me feel this way too. I don't know. I feel like I feel like I had so much faith in people's general stability, you know, or like DGG tier people, yeah, for such a long time, with some exceptions. And now I worry when I go outside, like how many of the people around me are absolutely fucking insane and are just barely holding it together, you know? Like how like when I go outside, when I go to the grocery store, how many of the people in line with me are just on the fucking brink? Um I do not, yeah, I do not know. And it's, I honest to God, it's making me more ableist. I'm just very judgmental towards people. I can't fucking help it. It's you come into contact, with that stuff enough, I think. I think the real reason is if you live in a big city, you actually see crazy people really often, but you ignore them and you don't process them as part of the people you've met that day. So living in Los Angeles, like seeing homeless people like talking to themselves or people who are like clearly out of their minds, like wandering the streets, not a super uncommon occurrence. But yeah, they get, because we're sort of trained to not consider them as people, which obviously is a problem, and it leads to a lot of stuff like this. They kind of fade into the environment, and we don't think of them as part of the people that we interact with. So, like, I could go and walk to the grocery store and walk back and encounter people who were clearly off their rocker on the way and think, wow, everyone I met today was super nice or whatever. Not to say that homeless people are nice, but you know what I mean, right? Like, I feel like we relegate. The thing is, online, there's nothing that differentiates the people who, from a class perspective, we should or shouldn't pay attention to. So if somebody is completely fucking unhinged in my inbox or in my email, like, they get treated as part of the broader public, which means that it's something that I necessarily have to factor in proportionally, which has lowered my opinion of people tremendously. The difference is that, like, the crazy homeless people I saw in LA were usually just victims. Like, the only victim of their illness was themselves. The crazy people online, however, seem to be a lot more vindictive. So there's that. So that's a problem.
Every day when you're walking down the street, everybody that you meet has an original point of view. And I see